It's a little bit weird. I don't know if it's Christmas or if it's Halloween. So a funny story before I get into this, me and my wife and my son actually went to the mall and we took one of those big photo things, and I was going to click on Halloween for the season thing, and I actually clicked on Christmas, and Terrifier 3 set during Christmas. So I really just can't fucking tell what holiday it is. Also have which I bought this, like this was an impulse buy, but I got the Terrifier 3 cup. It's pretty cool. It's got Mountain Dew, no ice. I don't even know why ice exists. So Damien Leone's Terrifier 3. I'm a huge fan of the Terrifier franchise. I had a chance to meet Art the Clown. He actually follows me on Instagram, which is crazy because I was very interested in the first film. Even All Hallows Eve. I actually watched All Hallows Eve before the original Terrifier film, which had a different Art the Clown actor. But I like the franchise. I like Art the Clown as I guess you could say, a slasher villain. I mean, he's definitely become iconic at this point. His face is everywhere on social media, basically. And I went to Spirit Halloween today, and they had Art the Clown mask. So people know who Art the Clown is. People like Art the Clown. I love Art the Clown. Now, Terrifier 3 set during Christmas, and it's set 5 years after Terrifier 2. You're following Sienna, Jonathan, the same people that survived Terrifier 2, the ones that actually made it, and it's set during Christmas. Now, Jonathan is in college, and Sienna just got out of I guess, I don't want to say a psychiatric place, essentially. That's where she's been staying, and she's staying with her aunt and uncle this go around. And I do want to talk about Terrifier 3 as a whole, and I'll let you guys know what I think of it and compared to the other ones. The main thing that I think a lot of people want to know about is the gore in Terrifier 3. Like, is the gore on par with Terrifier 2? And I think the gore is actually more intense than Terrifier 2. I mean, obviously it's going to look better given the higher budget and such, but it still retains that same look that the Terrifier films have, which it's kind of a weird look. I can't really explain it. Like, I want to say it's Grindhouse, but it's definitely a specific style catered to the Terrifier series that I've noticed, which I like, and I'd like them to keep doing it. It does sort of make it look low budget, even though they had more of a budget. Like if I looked at Terrifier 2 and 3 together, even though Terrifier 2 is in a different aspect ratio than 3, like Terrifier 2 is in 16:9, Terrifier 3 is in, I think, 2:3:5:1, so it's filmed in anamorphic, but like actual anamorphic. It's not like open matte, just normal, and then, you know, you get what I'm saying. It's actually anamorphic, but it does have that same look and feel that the Terrifier films have. The blood and gore are intense in this, like more than Terrifier 2, but again, that comes with the higher budget. I will say this though. I was not as shocked with the blood and gore in this film as I was the second film, just because I feel like there was more so a shock factor from the second film, you know, compared to the first film, because the first film was nasty. It had that one kill with the hacksaw. Everybody talked about it. It was the big kill, but I don't think people actually realized that the series was going to be known for all of its nasty blood and gore and all that stuff. Like, I don't think that was actually the thing. I think a lot of people really just wanted to watch more Terrifier with Art the Clown and get more of, you know, that specific narrative and him killing people and such, but I don't think they realized how important the blood and gore would become. I don't think anybody did until they watched Terrifier 2. Like, when I saw Terrifier 2, whenever I saw the trailer and such, I didn't even expect it to be that bloody and gory. I just thought it was another go around with Art the Clown. Then I got in the theater, I had listened to the reviews, heard all this stuff about the bedroom scene and how bloody it was, and then, yeah, it kind of shook me, you know, in a good way. But Terrifier 3, I think it does sort of lose that shock value just in terms of that, because, you know, we kind of seen it in Terrifier 2, so you're just kind of getting more of it in Terrifier 3, so if you enjoy it, you're still going to enjoy it here. But I will say there wasn't really a moment in the film that made me sort of quince, you know, like the second one, except there was one scene that in the mall, which I don't want to spoil, but it had my theater, you know, everybody was going, I don't want to say nuts, but it was an interesting experience. Also, somebody brought their little kid in the theater, which I'm not one of those people. Like, I have a son, my son is 2, he's going on 3, and I'm not one of those people that's like, oh, don't show your kid this or that or whatever. If you don't want to, that's fine. I completely understand. Like, I respect it 100%. Everybody parents in their own ways, but I was kind of shocked for Terrifier because, again, I'm not judging them, you know. I guess look, his fucking parents are rock stars for taking him to go see Terrifier, okay? Like, that's pretty badass, and I can't say anything because I watched Texas Chainsaw whenever I was like that age and saw all the, you know, Nightmare on Elm Street, Freddy, and, well, that same fucking thing, Friday the 13th, Halloween, stuff like that. So you know, I can't fault them for that, but it was just kind of shocking. Like, when I seen Ari Aster's Midsummer, somebody brought their kid in during that, and that's where I'm like, I don't know if which they probably weren't expecting what that was going to be, because I don't know, the blood and the gore aspects, people, look, the thing is, when kids grow up, they're going to see that stuff anyway. It's going to be pretty bad. Like, when you grow up, things just get rougher. I mean, there's just no other way to put it. But at the same time, like, I guess I'm sitting here saying I'm not, like, shocked that they would bring their kid, but I am, so I'm kind of just contradicting myself. I guess call me a hypocrite. But yeah, it was kind of an odd experience. We're all just watching Terrifier, and then there's, like, this little kid in there. Interesting. I'll just leave that at that. But, yeah, there are interesting parts of Terrifier 3. There was a big question going around that if Art the Clown would have a specific victim in the film. And I don't want to confirm or deny anything just for spoilers' sake, although I'm pretty sure if you're watching this, you've probably seen all the other reviews and you've probably seen the film yourself. But I don't want to get into spoilers, but I will say there will probably be some people that don't like some of the stuff in the film. Like my wife, for one, did not really care much for it. She, yeah. But me, I thought it was all pretty fucking gnarly. I'm not gonna lie. There were some nitpicks that I have, and again, I don't like to nitpick stuff whenever I'm making videos. I know that makes me seem like a terrible movie discussion guy, because I don't review stuff, I just like to talk about it. But, I mean, in general, I kind of like to understand where the directors and the filmmakers come from. That kind of, like, it's not me basically selling out to the filmmakers or anything, not at all. Like, I know some reviewers do that and people don't like it, which again, I'm not a reviewer. But it sort of helps me appreciate the film a lot more whenever I can actually see it through the filmmaker's eyes, because, and I can't fault the audience for that, because the audience is an audience. They're going to think whatever they want, and that's fine. I don't blame them. They spent the money on their ticket. But for me, I tend to enjoy the film a lot more whenever I understand where the filmmakers were coming from, and I kind of have a deeper appreciation. But there were some moments in the film where there were some certain scenes where something happens and then it cuts to the next scene, like specifically towards the end, like the final act of the film, like the final set piece. That was just very jarring. That whole part was just extremely jarring. It was, yeah, I can't really explain it. It's just, you'll have to see for yourself. You'll probably understand what I'm saying. But they make some pretty bold choices. Some worked and some didn't, based off of sort of the audience's reactions and what people were saying after the film. But again, I'll leave that to people that actually watch it. Like it up to the audience, like I said. But yeah, everything, I mean, it looked great. Like the whole Christmas theme, I like how they didn't make it extremely Christmassy. Like I'm glad that, of course they wore the holiday on their sleeve, of course, but because it's a Christmas themed Terrifier film, but they paid homage to certain things. There's some really cool cameos in the film I don't want to spoil. But again, it was more tame. It was a very tame Christmas film. So, I mean, it had the Christmas elements, it had the Christmas atmosphere, but it didn't take away from Terrifier. And sorry if I'm slurring my words, I'm like really tired. This is actually my second film I've seen today. I saw The Apprentice earlier, which I'll talk about that in another video, and I also had to pick my wife up from the airport. So, yeah, I was basically out for a while. And Art the Clown was great. This is probably my favorite iteration of Art the Clown. Like, his reactions and the way that he did things were just hilarious. I love Art the Clown. Seriously, like, he's great. He's probably one of my favorite slasher villains. Like, I really love him a lot. He's definitely what keeps me seeing these movies, which that's not a surprise. If I had to rank the Terrifier series so far, like, my opinions on them, I would probably have to say, it's a tough one. Terrifier 2 is still my favorite. I still think Terrifier 2 is the best one in my opinion. I really enjoy that film. And I don't know, it's maybe Terrifier 3 at number 2 and then Terrifier at number 3. I don't know, like, because I still like the first one a lot. It was just, again, I feel like Terrifier 3 is just more of what Terrifier 1 and 2 offered. And it didn't really present anything new. So I will say for the next Terrifier film, if it's going to be the last one, I would like to see something else to revolutionize the genre. Not even just Terrifier, but sort of something else to get people to be like, oh wow, okay, I did not expect that. I think we definitely need that, but I am down for another one. I'm very curious though, because this franchise has been making money, and if this is going to be the last one, I wonder if, I don't know, I wonder if like the rights would be sold to somebody else, because I couldn't really imagine a tamed down Terrifier, because at that point, you might as well just resurrect another slasher villain and bring him back, because this is what Terrifier is all about. So if you enjoyed Terrifier 1 and Terrifier 2, you are obviously going to enjoy Terrifier 3. Like, I don't see you not liking it. But if you are a diehard fan of the series and you're looking for something new, if you're looking for something different and not the same thing, you might be a little bit disappointed, but again, it's a weird film to talk about. It really is, because I enjoyed a lot of it, and there were some parts I was very mixed on, like I wasn't really so sure, and I think that's what makes a good film, like an interesting film. I know a lot of people think a good film is a film that's like a 10 out of a 10 or like a 90 on Rotten Tomatoes, which Terrifier does currently have. I don't know if it'll retain that after, the wide release, but I feel like the best films are the ones that have conversations going on, which this was definitely one of those films that we were sitting outside the theater talking about it. So, but yeah, you'll probably enjoy it. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a thumbs up and maybe subscribe. If you guys liked the video, it would mean the world to me. Make me very happy. It helps me out a lot. Also, for all the new members of the channel, thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate it. If you guys want to check out my link tree, check out my filmography. It would mean the world to me. Always looking to connect with other filmmakers, other content creators. But anyway, guys, take it easy, and I'll see you next time.